Hello, my crochet friends. So, today is Wednesday, March 12th. I have been working on this project for like the last month now, okay? So, every time I go to do something about organizing my yarn, I grab the camera and I film for you guys, right? And I've got tons and tons and tons of video clips in my computer, but I'm not going to put them up for a couple months because I want to see this project all the way through to the end. I'm the kind of person who gets these big ideas in my head and I work them just a little bit. And then towards the middle I kind of give up on it, you know. I don't have a lot of follow through, so I hardly ever finish a project. Um if you saw the state of my house with, tearing down a wall, doing demolition in the bathroom, you will see that I start out really well, and then I just kind of peter out, and then I don't finish the project. So I am working really hard to finish this organization for my yarn, and so I want to save all these videos. So hopefully by the end of 2025 I will be done with this, and my yarn will be nice and organized, so I can keep crocheting, keep creating my own patterns, and keep sharing them with you guys and doing crochet alongs with you guys. Because I got to tell you, that's the fun part, doing crochet alongs, right? So like every time I come upstairs, like I have yarn downstairs in my living room, and sometimes at night when I go to come upstairs to go to bed, I grab a bag or a bin or a box, as long as it's small enough that it'll take me 5 minutes to get it done before I go to bed. Okay, so I haven't been filming those because it's too dark, and I go to bed at midnight, so it's kind of late at night to be talking and filming. So I'm gonna show you, like here's my cube storage unit. It is filling up nice, and then you can see behind me I've got a stack of Home Depot boxes that I'm using. And while I do have some yarn sitting there, it turns out this stack of boxes is working really well for projects that have been just sitting in bins and bags that I haven't finished. Like, hopefully I showed you in a previous video, these Karen cupcakes. I actually have a blanket that I'm making out of these, and I need to find the blanket and put it with the cupcakes that I have. This is Shapey's Color Crafter. It was part of a crochet along that they had done a couple years ago. I think it was the Natural History crochet along. It's very French, and it tied it into a book called All the Light We Cannot See. I only started it and partially went, and then I stopped because I have no idea why I stopped. Either I was bored or something else, who knows. But now it's all together, so I can decide what I'm going to do with it. Am I going to frog it? Am I going to use this yarn elsewhere? Which, this is very beautiful yarn. I have another project here. Wonder if it has a date on it. But yeah, I started it July 2021. It's the Spice of Life crochet along, and it's by Sandra Paul from Cherry Heart. Now, I've made 2 Spice of Life blankets when I participated in the crochet along years ago, and then I had made a second blanket, and now this is a third one. And while I love the color combination, I don't think it's something that I'm going to finish. Then I have a project here from 2015, and it's made with Deborah Norville, or Norville. Okay, her yarn is called the Deborah Norville Collection Everyday, but it's also from Premier, so it's Premier Everyday Yarn. It's a number 4 medium worsted weight, but it's got that, so it's acrylic, but it's got that satiny feel to it a little bit, but not as much as Karen Simply Soft. So I was working on a project that I just put away and never went back to. So this storage right here is working out really well for my projects. So that bin right there, I emptied that last night when I came to bed. That was the Deborah Norville yarn and project. So I'm going to go, because right now the bins are being stored in my room as I go through them. Okay, hopefully you guys have watched the previous videos. You know this is an unused bathroom in my house. It only had a toilet and a sink when we bought it. And then we converted it into a closet for 2 of our kids that now they no longer need it. So I'm converting it again into a crochet closet, and I built a cubby storage unit, 2 of them that I bought from Amazon. And I've been making a lot of progress. So let's go into my room and grab a bin full of yarn. Let's see if we can empty another yarn bin. And there's Arlo. Please don't look at the litter box. There's Arlo. And these are the bins that I'm still working from. These 4 right here actually have blankets in them that have been made. Some of them I made videos for, some I didn't. So I'm thinking... Actually, I'm thinking that bin right there, because I can see it's got variegated yarn in there, and I could probably do with sorting that one, because I'm still working on my Patchwork Squares blanket. So let's do that one. So yeah, this bin definitely has a lot of variegated yarn in there that I was picking up. Like that's Melon Berry from Red Heart Super Saver. I think that's some Karen Simply Soft. And some just plain old white, and stuff I found at the thrift store. So I think what would be nice is if I took all of my variegated yarn and used one of these boxes to fill it up, top to bottom, with variegated yarn. So I can finish working on that Patchwork Squares blanket. So, I'm going to move those down and maybe put on my variegated there. Yeah, I don't know. So, I will get back to you when I empty this bin. I know it would be nice if I could set the camera so you guys can see me empty the bin, but because I put stuff here, and I put stuff here, 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 it's hard to keep turning around with the camera to do that, so it's just easier for me to empty the bin by myself and then show you afterwards where I put everything. So, Red Heart Super Saver, right? And then Loops and Threads, which is from Michael's. Loops and Threads. One is a satiny feel, and one is basic acrylic, right? Mainstays from Walmart. And then Karen Simply Soft, which I have more Karen Simply Soft here. That is supposed to be for my Patchwork Squares. And a vintage one that I found at the thrift store, and then this one I bought at Joann's before they closed. So there we go. There's more. So I would love to get all of my variegated yarn right here, since it's all for one particular project. So there is another empty bin, and the goal is to use all these clear bins for my blankets. So I'm going to take whatever's in this bin and transfer it to this one so then I can see better, right? Alright, so I'm going to do that now. Please, whatever you do, do not mind my messy bedroom, since I've got so much stuff going on in here these days. Dirty clothes pile, clean clothes pile, and my bed's a mess, whatever. So see, now I can see what projects are in here, and then maybe I can match them up to videos that I've done. So then if I've done a video on it and I've showed you everything there is to know about the blanket, then I can get it listed in my Etsy shop. So it's so much better than this bin here. Now these bins, don't get me wrong, these bins are awesome, but they're really more for, like, you know, putting yard tools in it and keeping it in your shed, or maybe Christmas decorations that you don't need to figure out what's in there. I don't know. So there we go. Even though I emptied this bin and then filled it right back up, this bin is completely empty. So let's go to, I want to say this one right here. It looks like it's got a lot of random stuff in there. So I'm going to pull this one out and take it into my new crochet closet slash yarn room that is only like 6 feet by 5 feet, but I'm doing the best I can with what I've got. Lots of pretty yarn in this bin. Hayfield, Baby Changes DK, Color Phase yarn. I think this is probably out of the UK, and I found it at the thrift store. Oh yeah, paint box. Whoa, look at that pretty baby color. King Cole Melody. Oh, yeah, see, I remember all this. I found all of this at my local Goodwill back in May of 2022. So, I don't have a... Because, like, right now I'm doing my yarn by yarn company. And since these are random yarn companies, I have a shelf, actually, right there. Because I have some paint box right there. So I'm going to put them up there. And look at all this sparkle yarn. I think I was saving stuff like this for Christmas. Because it's got a good Christmas feel to it. Alright, well, this bin's not going to empty itself, right? Here we go. Okay, this is really nice. This I have... It is Robin Paint Box double knit yarn. It is a pastel rainbow baby color. It turns out there are 5 balls of that. So that would make a really pretty baby blanket, yeah? Wow, sometimes the thrift stores has got some really neat stuff. So pretty. And then of course Bernat Softy Baby, which is a really good stuff. I like the softness of it. I got some Lion Brand Scarfy, which I really love this mustard yellow. Is it a wool acrylic blend, I think? Check out this sparkly yarn. Kind of gives me Out Among the Stars universe kind of colors, you know? Right. So you see, I could sit here and play with the yarn, which we all know that. Here is a Sock Monkey blanket kit. I think I got that at Hirschner's. So where do I put that on the shelf? I don't know. I kind of make it up as I go along, so. Alright, so another empty clear bin. So let's grab another one of these and take the blankets out of it and put it in the clear bin. Okay, since I've been saying about the Karen cupcake yarn, I can see the matching blanket project for it, so I'm going to grab that and stick that in there on the shelf with the yarn that it goes with. So here is my Karen cupcake blanket. I was changing colors every row. I did a row of soft white and then a row of the cupcake yarn. Soft white, cupcake yarn. So you see all these yarn tails? Every single row. And I was doing some version of a shell stitch. So I'm going to put that up there with the yarn. And I'm hoping I can come across my notes and the hook because I have no idea what hook size I was using. I'm hoping I can find that somewhere. Actually, hold that thought. I'm really liking the way these boxes are working out for me over here to find the yarn and the project and put them together. And hopefully, like, you know, I was lucky with this one because the notes were sitting with the yarn and the notes were sitting here. I'm hoping that I can find the notes as I go along for that, because that's just really nice to have the projects and the yarn together. And it'd be nice if I can bring up all my patchwork squares and maybe I can stick them in this box here. Or I have an empty bin here. Maybe I can put all my patchwork squares in this bin. I don't want them loose because Arlo loves to grab them by their little yarn tails and run around with them, so I don't want them loose. So this is the Lion Brand Scarfy yarn, right? I never knew what to do with it. I bought it because I really love that mustard yellow color. So I have two different samples here. One is, what crochet along was that? Ubuntu. So I have little samples here. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go frog these right now. So I'll just hand wind them and stick them with the yarn, because it's not something that, a project that I was going to keep going with. I was just doing a sample to figure out what I wanted to do with it. So I'm going to go frog this real quick. Okay, friends, so what I've been trying to do is, if I come across a small enough project that I know that I want to frog it, okay, and it will take me 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, I've been sitting down and doing that right away. Like I did have one a couple days ago where I was just playing around with a different stitch combination, and it wasn't all that big of a project, so I had sat down and I frogged it, and now the yarn is over there in the box. So for this Lion Brand Scarfy yarn, I really love this. It is a, what is it, a number 5? It's like roving, so it's got that fuzzy halo effect to it. And I think it's a wool acrylic blend, or it could be, let me just check the label, duh. Yeah, it is a number 5 bulky, 78% acrylic and 22% wool. Okay, so right, a wool acrylic blend. So when it was time to frog it, you know, yarn like that, it loves to get tangled up in on itself, and the fibers create a knot. So I got to the end of the one piece that I frogged, and I cannot get this knot out. It's like my original starting chain. So I need a pair of scissors to snip that, because it's not a lot that's being wasted. And then there's this ball here that I'd already wound up. So with this one, what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to frog this one. I have a spot where I'm going to put that, and I'm going to show you, but that's after I go run downstairs, find a pair of scissors. I'll be right back. Okay, so I made a trip downstairs. I brought up a bag so I can use for trash. I brought up a drink, which is not the best place to sit it. I'm really going to have to put a little table in here. I brought up my crochet hook case, so all the random hooks I am finding that can go in here. Pinking shears, because I actually do have some fabric, and that's not all of my fabric, so we'll put the pinking shears in there with the fabric. I have this bin here, which is full of crochet hooks that don't fit in my little pink case. Like, do you guys remember this? Hirschner's actually still sells them, and I think that's a possibility of where I got mine. It's from Boy, that makes the aluminum crochet hooks, but it's this handle, right? And then it's got these little grippy things that you put on your hook, and then you take your hook and you slide it into this somewhere. Does this unscrew? I don't know, hold on. Haha, yes, it does. It comes off. Hopefully you guys can see that. Yes. So I have one, but I never actually used it the way it was intended to. I use it, which is grabbing a hook and grabbing the right size little rubber grommet and sticking it on the hook so it's easier for me to hold on to. So that's how I did it. Not how it was meant to be, but that's how I did it. So I still have that in my bin of stuff. And then when I was doing crocheted blankets, I mean not blankets, baskets from Jada and Stitches, I needed bigger hooks. So I had found these Susan Bates at Michael's and I bought a whole bunch. And of course they don't fit in my crochet case. So I can make more baskets because Jada's pattern for making baskets is fantastic and it's wonderful and I love it. And then I bought some of the smaller ones because I really like the handle on them. Even though I've never been a fan of Susan Bates with the way they do that cut in on the hook and it's so very sharp and pointy. It's never been my favorite, but I like them. Let's see, I've got one plastic crochet hook that's a size P, which is an 11.5 millimeter. And then I've got a Tunisian hook. So you can run your stitches all along. Kind of looks like a knitting needle, but it's a Tunisian hook. I do have some Susan Bates with bamboo handles, and I love these bamboo handles, and I think they should be on every crochet hook ever. I got this random... Somebody sent this to me in a box of crochet stuff, right? It's an eye, which is this 5.5 millimeter. It's wood. It's got a little bit of a curve to it, but I love it. It works. It turns out, I found out later that it's from Hobby Lobby. And they don't make them like this anymore, but this was a wonderful hook. What else do I got there? Oh yeah, more Tunisian hooks. I went through a phase where I fell in love with the Tunisian simple stitch. So there's another one. That's size 10, US 6 millimeter, so that's an H, right? And then another one. Okay, why am I showing all this to you? I don't know, because I got distracted. And this had stitch markers in it, but I took the stitch markers out and put darning needles in there. I have my stitch markers elsewhere. So, okay, so that's my bin of big size hooks that don't fit in here with these. I'll give you a full proper tour of that someday if you guys want. But the thing I was doing was getting a pair of scissors, and they should be here in this bigger bin. Aha, yes, this has T-pins for fabric, pom-pom makers, an I-cord maker, and let's see how many pairs of scissors I've got in here, huh? How many pairs of scissors does the average crocheter need? I don't know. I've got the clover pom-pom makers, which these were new for me just a couple years ago. I love these. These are fantastic for making pom-poms. I-cord maker, and I have the different sizes, and then I have these pom-pom makers, you know, because these rings pop out. These are the ones I grew up with, although this isn't the set I had when I was growing up. This is a newer set. This is what we used growing up. Right? I can give you guys a proper tour of this bin too. I have these pom-pom makers, which they're okay. I think there's 4 of those, right? 5 of those? Wow! Right, we're getting to the scissors. Hold on. Let's see. A set of wooden buttons that I had found a seller on Etsy that did my name, Granny Square Peg. So I could put them on my projects, but I actually don't have them on any of my projects. They're just kind of floating around. I know I have a whole bunch more of these. Okay. Alright. Let's see. Some leather cord for jewelry making. Because what crocheter doesn't need that, right? Yeah, you guys know about this. This is a ruler, so you can check your gauge. And then this helps you figure out the size of your knitting needles and your crochet hooks. Okay. Okay, so scissor wise, let's see. I've got this little pair of embroidery scissors, which is good that they come in this little case because these things are super sharp. I don't always use these because my thumb gets stuck in there because my knuckles swell on occasion, so I don't use them often. this is my favorite pair because I like how big the grips are. And they're nice and soft. Right. And then this was a new set that I had bought at Michael's, I don't know, a year or two ago. But I don't actually use them. Because I bought them and then put them away. So, oh, they're from Loops and Threads. These look like fabric scissors because they look like you can slide along the fabric. Yeah? Yeah, I think those are fabric scissors. And then, you know, little scissors. Little scissors. These feel like the embroidery scissors, but thankfully they got bigger thumb grips, which is why I like them. And then a pair of snips. This is why I bought them, because I like the snips. So I'm going to take these and go put them up there for when I'm working on these small little frogging projects that I'm doing while I'm organizing my yarn. I'm trying to get that lid cap back on there. Protective guide. So the rest of these I'm just going to stick back in here with the pom-pom makers for the moment. Okay? That's a lot of rambling. Oh, I'm sitting on the floor in my tiny little bathroom turned closet. But I'm surrounded by all the stuff that makes me happy. How's that? I set you guys up on a cake of yarn. I don't have my tripod up here yet. Okay, there we go. Cut that off. Good to go. And put that in there. And put that in there. And we're going to step out of the screen for a moment. Put this over here. Oh, yeah, okay. So, since I decided I'm not going to frog this, I'm going to snip the yarn. Okay, and then pull it through that last stitch. And there we go. Yeah, there we go. Got a sample that's in a little bit of a funny shape, huh? The Ubuntu crochet along. That was fun stuff. Okay, so let me show you where I am putting all this stuff. I have a spot down here where this is corner to corner, and I had it underneath my computer monitor for a little while. This is a patchwork square that I was checking the size with this yarn. This is a sample of colors I did for a waffle weave stitch, and this is the color placement that I had worked up. And then there we go, I'm going to put that sample there. And then this is a little bookmark that I made from a tutorial I found. It's a little flower, and you crochet this way, and then you do a flower on the other end. Thought it was super cute. You don't use it as a bookmark, but there you go. Okay, so this little bit is not worth wrapping up and saving. So I'm gonna throw this away. So if you don't like it, I'm sorry. It's just not worth it to keep it. Okay, so there we go. I'm going to leave the scissors right here on the top. This is my little rag when I come across a lot of dust. Leave the scissors there, and how about my button? I'll leave my button there. I think I'm going to call it quits here for now. It doesn't mean that I'm done. It just means I might be done filming for today. It's not overly hard because I love filming while I'm doing this, and I love talking to you guys while I'm doing this, but it can be time consuming. So let me focus a little bit on what I've been doing and do it without actually filming. So I will catch you guys in a couple days. Oh, I really do need to get a fan in here. I'll catch you guys in a couple days, okay? And we'll do this again, all right? But it's looking pretty good. I'll give you one last look. Oh, yeah, look at this. I put all this little, like, #1 fine yarn with the sparkles. I put it all right there. And the camera doesn't show it really well, but it is super cute. Okay. It's looking good. I left my little bins sitting down there. I think maybe I will bring up my patchwork squares and put them there. And maybe find another bin that's got more variegated yarn in it, because it'd be nice to have it all in one spot. Okay. My window in the bathroom. Alright guys. I'll catch you guys later. Hello my friends. I know that I said I was done filming and working today, but I'm not actually. Went downstairs, I had something to eat, something to drink, sitting at my computer, watching YouTube, and working on my Lion Brand ice cream yarn blanket. The original one, I finished the border on that on Sunday. And today's Wednesday, so I started the border on the ice cream sprinkles blanket. Okay. But I'm taking a break from that. I want to go grab another bin and put some yarn away. So I'm thinking this bin down here in the bottom looks like it's full of yarn, so I'm going to grab that and take it into my new crochet closet and put it away on my new storage shelf. Right after Bandit and Arlo say hello to everybody. Wow, look at that. A little bit of everything in there. Okay, let's see. Some more yarn found at the thrift store. That one. Yarn from Michaels to go for my Patchwork Squares blanket. Some old yarn from Stitch Studio by Nicole. This is from AC Moore. Wow, in my camera, it's looking very orange, but it's red with sparkles for Christmas. Alright, so let's see if we can empty another clear bin. Okay, so it turns out there was only yarn on the top half of this bin. I had some Big Twist Value from Joann's to put away. Some Impeccable from Michaels. Okay, here we go. I have this one ball of Impeccable from Michaels, and it had a hook that was tucked inside of it, because this ball of yarn had come in a bag with a how to crochet book and this random hook that was tucked inside the yarn. So it's a 4.5 millimeter, which is what, a G, but it's unbranded. It's just probably a cheap aluminum hook, so let's put that over here in my hook bin. And what's left in this bin, a lot of times when I work on a project, and I know as crafters we all do this, that we will take the leftovers and the yarn labels and stick them in a baggie. So what I was doing back in 2023, when I was trying to purge yarn I didn't want anymore, I started putting all of these baggies in a bin. So like that says Vintage Stripe, I know exactly what project that goes to. And I can tell that the granny square blankets that I made that were baby blankets, these are the leftovers with the yarn labels. Ah, see, I had forgotten I still had the yarn labels. Now I could tell you what kind of yarn I used. So this bin is okay. All right, here's a good one. This is the Karen cupcake yarn that I just showed you in the last video, where I was doing a row of soft white and then a row of the Karen cupcake. And I changed color every row, and it's got all those yarn tails. This goes with that project. Ana has dates in there, so I'm going to take that and put that all the way up there at the top with that project. Only because I know where that project is currently sitting. I have no idea what that one is. Oh, sorry. That was my pastel ripple. My original Karen Cakes blanket had leftovers, and I put those leftovers into a leftover blanket. I haven't done a video on that yet. Ooh, oh, look at that. Lion Brand ice cream yarn. I have another bag of leftovers downstairs with my Lion Brand ice cream blanket, the granny I've been working on. Oh my goodness. So I'm going to take this downstairs with me. That's from my Hirschner's blanket. Red Heart that I didn't finish, and some random stuff. And then in here, this bin is, it's got a book that you can keep track of your whips in there, which I don't actually call them whips, I call them works in progress. Some old photos, more notes. Yeah. Alright, so I was trying really hard to get everything together. So, as I've been emptying the bins, I came across those two bags of leftovers, so I'm going to put them in here. I'm going to put that up on the top, take that one downstairs, and I'm going to leave this bin just as it is, so I can keep collecting my leftovers and my notes. Oh yeah, here's my Red Heart Super Saver. It's here in this cubby. It's here in this cubby. And it's here in this cubby. And then there's just random Red Heart here. But I've run out of room, so it's spilling out onto the floor. What's a girl to do? Use it up or get rid of it, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, you know what? I have a small empty bin right here. Maybe I can use that for the Red Heart that's on the floor. Okay, so give me a minute to get all this stuff cleaned up and put away. Alright, this was an empty bin that I had. It was just tucked in here on the bottom, on this bottom box. So I took the empty bin out, put my little baggy bin here. So now we're going to take this into my bedroom and empty one of those black bins and put blankets in there. How about this one? Okay, yeah, let's do this one. This bin has one blanket in it. It's my Jacob's Ladder blanket. It's got like 20 balls of yarn, and it came out to be like 10 feet long, which turns out I was ahead of my time, because now they call these couch blankets or family couch blankets. So let's go move that into a bin. Okay, there we go. Jacob's Ladder, all of its leftovers and notes are now in a clear bin. So when I said let's put this in a bin, well duh, it came from a bin. It was just a black bin that I couldn't see in. Now it's in a clear one. Is there anything else I can empty today? I think these are my swatches and my samples in there. Why don't we take a look at that real quick? Yes, it is. Random granny squares I was making out of all different yarn brands. This is a sample for my Spice of Life crochet along, the first one I had done. This was a sample when I was working on my Karen Cakes blanket, that pattern that I made, where it's 3 single crochets in a chain 2 space. This was an early workup of it. Granny squares that are join as you go. I was trying that out. This one was figuring out the difference between bobble stitches, popcorns, puff stitches. Yeah, I was just trying to work up a sample. Oh, corner to corner join as you go, but I wound up with big gaps here and I couldn't quite figure it out. I know there are other people on the internet that did, but that was a sample of that. Oh, this is just a random granny square I made with some leftover from a cake yarn that I wasn't really happy with. Figuring out how to do cross stitching on a single crochet background. Yeah, these are my samples and my swatches. Trying to figure out hook sizes, whether there was a difference between an F and a G and an H when I was working on squares. I don't remember who designed this, but if I do, we'll figure it out and let you know. Granny squares in number 3 lightweight or DK weight baby yarn. Oh, I got a whole bunch of those. Nice. Okay. So those are just my samples. I'm going to leave them right where they are. So what I can do is this small little pile of samples that I found, I'll take them out of there and put my Red Heart Super Saver in here, because I have been working really hard on making sure that there's nothing on the floor. Now, let's go put this in my sample bin. Now that my sample bin is on top, and it's a little easier to get into, because I'm pretty sure I'll find more samples as I go along. Nice. Okay, so there we go. I have, in the last 2 days, I've emptied 3 of these black bins and repurposed 3 of these clear ones. So see, my starting pile is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Alright, so let's go back downstairs and finish working on my Hawaiian brand ice cream sprinkle yarn blanket. I'm doing the border on it. Okay, I'll catch up with you guys later. Bye! Can't stop me once I get started. Chaos. That's what I am after a little bit, because I'm downstairs, I'm having a snack, gotta do updates on my computer, and I'm like, you know what, I'm pretty sure I have another bin upstairs that is just granny squares, because I was doing samples, and I was also trying to figure out how many granny squares I can get out of one skein of yarn. And I used Michael's Loops and Threads Impeccable. So I might as well go empty the small bin, take all my sample squares out of it, and put it in the bigger bin of all my samples. So let's go do that, because it turns out I'm not exactly done today. my sample bin. And that right there. And you're like, well, it's fine in that little bin. Yes, it is, but I don't keep the little bin anywhere near the big bin. So, random colors. I wanted one square of each color that Loops and Threads had for their impeccable line way back in, did I put a date on there? Oh, no, I didn't. But I'd say 2015, 2016, because that's when I did a lot of this stuff. So, Impeccable at the time had some really good colors. And it was a yarn that I was thinking about switching over from Red Heart Super Saver to Impeccable. And then they changed their colors again and again and again. And we're always at the mercy of the yarn companies, right? I got some little bits left in the bottom there. So all of these white ones are from one skein of the Loops and Threads Impeccable. So how many did I get out of one skein? And how big are the skeins, huh? 4.5 ounces, 128 grams, 268 yards, 245 meters. How many squares did I get out of the white? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 17 3-round traditional granny squares. Oh no, solid granny square. Solid granny square. Sorry about that. 17 out of 4.5 ounces. Or 245 meters, if you count in meters. So I wrote myself a note. Michael's Craft Store, their brand of yarn, Loops and Threads, called Impeccable. I made these solid granny squares after I was done with my last dance on the beach. A couple of years ago, I made one of every color so I could have samples that would make it easier to play with color and plan out when I was making a blanket. Oh, August 2019. So I did these squares back in 2019. And I got 17 white ones out of one skein. So these last little bits right here, I do have a shelf full of Impeccable, but I'm not going to put them on there. I'm going to put them on the shelf that I have where it's just hand wound balls of yarn and that don't have any labels. Okay, now I think I'm finally ready to be done for the day. So I did put my clear bins back in the pile. I do have a bin down there that's got yarn in it. That one there's got yarn in it. So I still have more to do. But that looks way better. And this, I will see if my husband will go put these in the shed. And this one is empty. So I know when I show you these clips here, it probably doesn't look any different to you, but I can see how it's getting fuller and fuller. Like I still got room to put something there. Definitely have room in there. I'm trying to find all my mandala, and I have more of that downstairs. So this is Big Twist Value, which is what's in here, but it won't all fit. Some random stuff like Stitch Studio by Nicole. Random stuff in there. So when I find more random stuff, I just put the random stuff together. This is This is Karen Simply Soft Light. They did make a number 3 DK or lightweight yarn. And right when I found it and decided that I really liked it, they discontinued it. So I had gone to AC Moore and I bought a whole bunch of colors, and that's what all that is. Still my fabric there. I have more fabric downstairs. I need to bring that bin up. So there we go. There's the bin full of the baggies that have leftovers and notes in them. My hooks and pom-pom makers. My variegated yarn, which I have, you guys know I have a whole bunch more of that. And then 1 project, 2 projects, 3 projects, 4 projects. Nice. So I'm, yeah, it's about 4 o'clock, and that's about, you know, when I try to end my workday here at the house. So now I can go sit and crochet if I want, put some movie on in the background, maybe a TV show, and I can sit and work on my Lion Brand ice cream sprinkles yarn blanket. And maybe I can stop being chaotic for the day, and it's just sometimes when you're getting things done and things are working out right and you're being productive, it's like you don't want to stop, right? You just want to keep going, because the more I get done today, the less I have to do tomorrow, right? And then it would free up my day to do decluttering somewhere else in the house if I have the energy for it, if I didn't burn myself out today. So I think that is finally a good place to stop, and I'll break today up into 2 different videos because I think it would just flow better that way. But I am still a bit chaotic. Yeah, that's me. So thank you guys for coming along with me. I can see that I'm picking dust off of my yarn. Like when I'm standing here talking to you guys, I'm looking down at the yarn and I can see dust or cat fur, and I'm picking off the dust and the cat fur. So, all right. So I need to bring a trash can up here, and I definitely need a little table, maybe a stool or something that I can sit on when I'm up here, even though it's such a tiny space. So, anyway, what was I saying? Thank you guys for coming along with me. All right. I'll catch you guys later. Bye.